Hello guys, yeah, it's me, Crazy Cozzy, again with another car review. This time coming from a more recent era. This is from a car that was made in the year I was born, like the Jag XJ220. This is a 1992 Lotus Carlton. The original car, I believe, was a Vauxhall Carlton that used a 3-litre straight 6 engine. Only Lotus, at this point, General Motors owned Lotus and Vauxhall at that point, so they basically asked the engineers at Lotus to have a look over the Carlton, see what flaws they could find and see ways they could improve it. First thing they noticed was that the power band in the Vauxhall Carlton was terribly too long. So they put new cams in the engine, making it rev higher and faster, as well as putting two ceramic turbochargers to it. They basically turning the car into a twin turbo, which was very nice. Vauxhall was very happy with that. They upgraded the suspension, making it a bit firmer, although the suspension is really desperately soft in this game. The car definitely has the grunt now that it needs. That's why Lotus put their seal of approval on the car, because back then they were all about power, unlike today where they're more focused on handling, which is obviously apparent with the Elises. But the Carlton is a great car, and it always has been, for yobs and chavs alike, but it was also a menace on the streets of Britain. Loads of getaway drivers use these cars in police chases. That's why there's hardly any of them around. They sold 960 units of this car. 960 of these cars were made, so that makes this car fairly rare. I'm giving it a rating of fairly rare and very, very, very awesome. Right, get down to the actual car review this time. As we switch to the in-car view, come on. There we go, lovely. See my editing. Right, okay, we have the interior view, which is very good for racing in Forza 3, because there's no apparent, blockages that allows you to not see anything. So, if I worded that correctly, so this car is very easy to drive from the cockpit view, so there's no obstructions in the way. And my rating for this car is, overall, I'm going to give each car a rating. The California was somewhere in the 60s. The Carlton I'm going to give an 80, but there's a lot of room for improvement on the handling side. The grunt is amazing in this car. It's got 300 and something horsepower now, thanks to Lotus and their magic tweaking fingers, before they turned all Malaysian and stuff and got really, really snobby and started Formula 1 where they failed at life in Sheffield. Anyway, sorry, I'm badgering on too much. Right, I suggest for this car, if you want to tune it, grab some race brakes, race suspension. I'd prefer either sports or racing tyres on this, depending on how much PI you've got to work with. About medium width on all the tyres, back and front. Depending on how much PI, again, you might want to lighten the car. I wouldn't advise putting any power into it, because it's got plenty of power. I mean, 300 horsepower for a rear-wheel drive car is not that, well, it's kind of too much in my opinion, but I'm from the Lotus era when they made Toyota engines, so right, okay. Again, as I said, tyres, suspension, brakes, preferably race suspension and brakes, race anti-roll bars. I wouldn't bother putting a roll cage in, because there's no need for stiffening, unless you're into that thing, I guess, and like turning it into a touring car or something. Lightweight, weight reduction if you can afford the PI. And my preferred classes for this car are either B or the class it's in. I think it's an E, something like that. As we move on to our track section, this is where our tame racer driver takes it around the track for a hot lap. This is the first time he's ever driven the car, so this should be fun. He did say to me the standard car has really no brakes or no suspension. It's like on a jelly mould. As he goes around the first hairpin, you can see the rear end snaking out a bit, but that's to come with the 300 horsepower rear-wheel drive car. Coming around to the first corner, nice and smooth. Did I also tell you that this car had a Corvette ZR1 gearbox thrown into it? just because, you know, General Motors owned Chevrolet at that point, and they still do. Come around the S-bends with a nice little flick out there from our tame racing driver, trying to get some crowds build up. And here we go into the second set of S's. Nice and flat through the first, and then braking hard under bumpy circumstances into the second, touching the curb for the apex and booting it for the outcome. This is awesome power from this little car. Oh, well, I would say little, but this is what the Vauxhall Vectra should be today. Not a weedy front-wheel drive thing, a rear-wheel drive powerhouse. As he comes into the spoon, a bit too late on the brakes. As you can see, he missed the apex by quite a long way, but he comes out of the spoon with enough speed to keep the lap going. As he comes up to the S's, he said he had to lift here because of, you know, he was not certain about the car's, you know, rigidity and whether it would slide out or not. Going a bit wide on the exit there. As he comes up to the third set of S's, fourth set of S's, if I'm not mistaken. Flick to the left as he takes it round, and a nice wide line for the right-hander as he gives it the full beans on the way out. And from the helicopter view, you can still hear that straight six with the spooling of the turbos. I think that is the best sound in the world for this car. Although the sound is very generic in this game, let's be honest. I think every turbo has its own, you know, distinct sound. As he flicks it into the last set of S's, left and right quick as you can, and round the BMW corner we go. A bump on the entry, and he slides it out and he gives it the full beans, goes wide and fast. Let's see if it can make up for it. Right, and he finishes with a 2 minutes and 19.207, which for a standard Carlton ain't bad. And I'm I'm leaving it to the vote now. Which car would you rather see in the? Well, name a car. Name any car. As long as we've got it, I'll review it. Take care, guys.